This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Monday, July 27th, 2009, and this is episode 596 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hotchkiss of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. Welcome, Len.
How's it going, Matt?
Outstanding. Also joining us on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Welcome, Mike.
How'd it go, Matt?
Super. And
How did it was fabulous. It was faster than I expected. And that's sort of the general catch-all.
what's the haps? And also joining us on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior, very senior, feature writer and blogger for alleears.net. Welcome, Mike.
God, I almost bounced right out of the ride.
Ooh.
Almost bounced right out. Sounds familiar.
Almost bounced right out of the ride.
I got
Tower of Terror. I don't know.
Dinosaur.
The many adventures of Winnie the Pooh. It's Tigger.
He says that?
Yep. You doubt me?
I
Unfortunately,
Honor your senior. Honor your father. And
your
what?
hearing aid must be turned up so high to hear that.
What?
What?
actually, Len, he's got that that like ram's horn that he sticks in his ear.
Exactly.
Well, you got to make an announcement that the show that we won't be doing too many podcasts because I'm running out of openings.
Yeah, really.
Oh yeah, that's what really makes or breaks our show.
Yeah.
And also joining us on today's show is the fabulous Annette Owens, a senior. She's not senior. She's a manager.
Whoa!
Oh wow!
She's very mature, though. She's very mature.
MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Welcome, Annette.
Yeah, and I'm dedicated. I'm here with you guys on my vacation. I'm sitting on the beach at Hilton Head. Come on, they call me senior.
Well, on today's show, we're going to talk about the stage shows at Walt Disney World. They're a little bit different animal than the rides at Walt Disney World, certainly. And I think even before we get into it, Len, can you give us maybe a ground rule or two when you're dealing with trying to plan in stage shows to your Disney World vacation?
So, depending on the park, especially at the studios and at the Animal Kingdom, you really want to grab a copy of the daily entertainment schedule when you walk into the park, because Disney frequently schedules the shows so that the end of one show overlaps with the beginning of another, making it hard to get into them. So you really have to plan ahead, especially again for the studios where shows are an integral part of the experience, and also the Animal Kingdom, because there are, relatively speaking, so few things to do, and the park hours aren't that long that if you mess up, it's entirely possible you could miss a show you want simply because of the way Disney schedule things, not the way that you schedule things.
That's right. I mean, a lot of the schedule really comes into play. And some attractions, some stage shows really don't have that many showings, which makes it even more difficult. You've got different ends of the spectrum. You got like on one end, you got like Voyage of the Little Mermaid, which just goes on and on and on all day long. And you've got on the other side of the spectrum, Lights, Motors, Action, which sometimes only has 2 showings a day. So it's like Len said, it can be very difficult to
right.
So let's start. Let's go park by park and talk about the stage shows. And I think we should start with Hollywood Studios, considering that it's the level of difficulty involved there,
Right.
in terms of it. So let's start with the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular. And there's no more Fast Pass at this attraction, although it's probably listed officially. They haven't had Fast Pass in months over there, so you really got to take that out of the equation in order to enjoy it. So when we're talking about these stage shows, what are your thoughts about the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular?
One of the things that I remember when when studios opened, I really
when
enjoyed,
film was invented. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I said to Samuel Golden, the thing that I liked about Indiana Jones when it first came to the studios was that it was on all day, and I used to finish my night by going to the last showing, which would be like at 8:00 at night, but they don't do that anymore. I think it takes away from the first opening scene. So I kind of miss that. And what I like to recommend to people is that they sit on the right side of the stadium, because I think most of the action is on the right side, Matt.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I also like recommending to people, if they can, try to get there for the earlier shows in the day, like the ones in the morning. They tend to be a little bit easier to get into, and obviously it's a little cooler out. It's an outdoor stage, so obviously, temperatures and everything. If weather's going to be a factor for you, that's something that comes to mind. Len?
Yeah, I would probably say the same thing. I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
I mean, the show's been running for so long that I think that anyone who wants to have seen it has already seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that I always worry about is the timing at the end with the explosion. The other thing I wanted to mention is that when you exit the theater on the left, I don't know how many people notice because of the growth over there, but there are props from Indiana Jones and
yeah, that's right. You have that as a hidden thing, right? A hidden treasure of the studios.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's on the left-hand side. Alternatively, you can exit also by Backlot Express, in which case you'll see no props. But yeah, it's actually kind of cool. You don't have to even go to the show to see it if you just want to see them on your own. Just go to walk past the shop over there, and if you keep going down the path, it almost looks like it's going nowhere. You'll see all the props over there. It is really cool. I agree with you, Mike. While we're talking about stunt shows, let's go to Lights Motors Action Extreme Stunt Show. And I think with and this holds true for Indy also. I mean, it's not stunt shows in particular are kind of hard to. It's not something I particularly see every trip I go to. It's not something that holds that kind of interest for me. I mean, it's something I see every couple of years. I think is how I label most of the stunt shows. What are your thoughts on Lights Motors Action?
Well, I saw I think Len was with me. We saw the first one,
yeah.
And ever since then they've all been different, and they've all been very disappointing to me. I don't recall since then seeing the jet skis being used or whatever.
It's been a long time, right?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if they were just overdoing it because it was it was their inaugural show or whatever. One thing that I mentioned to a lot of people is that if you're going to go, get a fast pass for the first show, really you want to stay away from that late afternoon show because I don't know how many times it would be canceled, but let's face it, if there's ever a chance for a thunderstorm in Florida, it's going to be late in the afternoon, so it's better to go to the first show.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I don't, Matt, are any of the shows particularly more crowded than the rest? I mean, they seat thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah, I always go for the first showing. I always think it's less crowded than the later showing in the afternoon because a lot of people don't make their way back over there until later in the afternoon. So it's natural, if you to see that show. If that makes sense.
Entirely true. Okay.
Okay. Let's move on to Beauty and the Beast live on stage. This one, I think, this is one of my favorite stage shows in all Walt Disney World. Very well done. Really,
we saw this. We saw this last time. We were there. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I mean, me in stage shows. I would. If it was me, I'd much rather see an animatronic than a person doing the acting. I don't know. That probably totally says something about me, but. Beauty and the Beast, I think, is the one that I've seen a few times, and it's really not bad.
Yeah, Annette?
This one, I really think, I like to do it once a year. A couple of times, down a year, I like to go do this once a year. It's always a good show. Yeah. But no, I think it's definitely your kids love this show. They love to get there. They get to see Belle right up and the Beast right up close. Yeah. So,
but mostly Belle. Go ahead.
But mostly Belle if you're, Scopa. So.
Yeah.
And, of course, also in the studios, you got Voyage of the Little Mermaid also going on. But this one I found, again, very easy to get into because there's so many showings throughout that. I mean, Beauty and the Beast has got maybe, 4 or 5. Lights Motors Action 2. Indiana Jones got a number. But Mermaid is great because they just, they start a little bit after the park opens and then they just have continuous shows really throughout the day, which is really nice. So it's, it's always good in terms of planning because it gives you lots of options. And again, I also like Voyage of the Little Mermaid. I think it's maybe half a step below Beauty and the Beast. I think Beauty and the Beast is just performed better. But the puppetry on Voyage of the Little Mermaid is really well done.
Yes. Very well done. One of the things that I've noticed in these stage shows is that I think that they're getting better in putting in those attractions cast members who are aggressive in telling guests, please move all the way to the end of the row. I noticed they do that. They do that in American Idol Experience, and I'm beginning to see that more and more in the other shows. And I applaud Disney when they do that.
Yeah. I was going to say the same thing, but I saw it in DCA for the Aladdin show. It was really, really, really obvious that they were pushing people to do that.
And lastly, we have the American Idol Experience as a stage show at the studios. And again, lots of good, usually about 5 or so shows a day. And I've always felt that there's always at least a show to get into. Although the finale show is the one I know I always recommend to people. And I know, Scopa, that you've had some issues getting into that finale show because it is very popular.
Yeah, one of the things, Matt, that it's funny because last week when I was there, I wanted to text you, but you had changed your phone number and you didn't have text. I wanted to ask you, for some advice as to when I should queue up for that, and maybe that's something that we should mention. I would say that you want to queue up for that no later than 30 minutes before the last show.
I would say, I would say at least, even 45 minutes ahead of time, just to be, if you want to be assured of it, because it gets very popular, especially on nights when there's no Fantasmic. People go over there, and you can't actually see the show from outside. They put it on the screen out there for you to watch. I mean, there's nowhere to sit. I mean, you can sit on the ground, I guess. So there's some benches by Min and Bill's if you really wanted to. But
a lot of people watched it. The night that I got shut out, I couldn't get over how that entire plaza, everyone was watching the big screen. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And the reaction to everybody when a lot of us thought this one contestant was going to win, and when she lost, everyone's going, "What? What's going on?" It was kind of neat. It was kind of neat.
Let's move on to Animal Kingdom. And over here at Animal Kingdom, we've got a couple different shows. Let's start out with Festival of the Lion King, otherwise known as Scope. If you could make one attraction your own child, this would probably be it, wouldn't it?
Probably. I like the idea if it's a theater in the ground. Stepchild, maybe. Yeah, probably. I mean, the thing that I like about this particular attraction, this particular show, is that the performers are always into it. Let's face it, if the performers are into it and they look like they're enjoying themselves, then the guests are going to enjoy themselves. I think there's a lot of talent. There's just so much skill when you've got the monkeys flying around, you've got the fire twirler, the people on the stilts. I think it's one of those shows that shows just how skillful some of the performers are down there.
I've got a confession. I've never seen this attraction.
Really?
Okay, we've got to make him go see it.
I've never seen it.
It's not like there are dinosaurs.
I know. It's in Camp. It's in Camp Minnie Mickey. I never go over there, so I never
He's scared they're going to make him march around or something in the show. And that's the part I think is really neat. It's the guest interaction in the show. I mean, they definitely have you in there. They, you're clapping. I know every time I've gone, you hear everybody singing with the people on stage. But
any tips? Any touring tips for this one?
Go to the early shows because the early shows, if you can get to the first show, that would be good. The problem though is that if you're into Everest and Dinosaur, you got to make a decision sometimes. But I would say try to hit Expedition Everest first, or at least get a fast pass, and then shoot over to Camp Mickey Minnie and try to get the first show in. That's what I would suggest.
Let's move on to Len's wife's favorite, Flights of Wonder.
Yeah, right.
And this is actually your wife hates it because it's birds. But I saw this track. I really like it. I thought it was really interesting, even though I too hate birds. But Len, what are your thoughts on Flights of Wonder?
I really like it, actually. It's one of the shows that you can see late morning on your way to Africa from Asia.
Yep.
It's well done, and even though you think you know everything that birds can do, it's really sort of it combines a little bit of education along with a little bit of entertainment. So it's not birds riding parrots riding bicycles or anything.
Yeah,
it's more birds in their native habitat, so they're pretty interesting.
I would wager a guess that of all the attractions out of all Walt Disney World attractions, that Flights of Wonder, in terms of people, when you hear an attraction for the first time and you think to yourself, the first thought that comes into mind, Flights of Wonder has to have the lowest guest positive reaction to it, because I just think people just think birds. I don't want to see birds. You know what I mean? And I think it's a natural thing because I don't think people just don't care. I think but I mean, once you go see it, I absolutely recommend it. I think it is a really, really wonderful attraction. I think they do a great job. Those birds are really well trained, and it's really interesting. It's always my favorite part. The birds always fly over the tops of the heads of everyone in the stadium, and people duck, and the customers just keep ducking because he'll just go lower. If everyone moves down, he just goes down.
He just goes lower too,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
It's 6 inches above your head, no matter where your head is.
Noel, have you seen Flights of Wonder yet?
I go every time.
Okay, so you're a fan of it also.
Oh yeah, I think it's great.
And what's great about it, because people don't like it that much necessarily off the bat, I think it makes it easy to get into.
Well, some of the jokes are a little corny, but I like that audience interaction, so it's kind of fun.
The one thing I don't like, not to give too much away if you haven't seen it, but I guess mute yourself for about 30 seconds here, is the plant of the person over there who's the tour guide. You know,
Oh,
who
yeah.
doesn't like like I think they can do the attraction without having the person who they have to convince to it. It seems a little, I don't know.
I agree.
That's
Corny,
that's
but-
where the corny is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just unnecessary. I think they could do the attraction without it, but that's just personal preference. Let's go to Finding Nemo the musical. This one, I'm a big fan of this. I love this show. What great music. I mean, they actually wrote music for this specifically for this attraction because, as you might recall, Nemo is not a musical. The movie.
I remember that.
But I'm a big fan of this. Len, what's your thoughts on Finding Nemo?
I think it's a little bit long. It's about half an hour in terms of production.
I think
I think
that's what's great about it. I think.
I think the production is pretty well. I can't stand half an hour is probably 10 or 12 minutes too much for me. I think the puppets are really well done. I don't think the story is particularly compelling. I didn't like Nemo the movie all that much. I mean, I didn't like. I thought. I know. I thought Ellen DeGeneres was great, but I thought it could have used a little more. I thought it was the movie itself was.
Well, I guess
kind
that's you and Larry Flint now. That don't like that movie.
Both of us, yeah. So, but it was kind of paced kind of slowly, and I didn't think it was funny enough. I could be wrong.
Wow.
Okay. Ouch.
Mr. Grinch.
No, it's funny. I
And you know what? Christmas is overrated too.
Here we go. That
I
Santa
agree.
Claus guy.
Yeah, Matt says I agree. Listen,
Oh my gosh! I have to say, when I saw it, my first response after getting up was, "Where are the cushions on the seat?"
Oh my God.
Because you're
It's-
sitting there for so long. Where are the cushions?
It is the most uncomfortable set of benches in all of Walt Disney World.
Definitely.
I think the real issue for me with Finding Nemo is that there's such a long line. You have to get there really in advance. It's not some attraction where you can just show up, 10 minutes before. I mean, you've got to queue up for that one because it is very popular.
Yeah.
And I just remember every time I'm there, every time I wait for it, it's always out in the sun. And, Animal Kingdom is always like 1,000 degrees to begin with. So you're sitting out there and, right in the sun, and it's just a sweat fest.
Well, we did the
Sweat
lunch
fest.
thing over at what's the lunch deal they have now over there
Oh, the lunch package over there at Tusker?
at Tusker House? Yeah, we did that. And we walked right
Oh.
in. We walked right in before they let the general public in, and we didn't even wait. There was no wait to get in.
so
it was great.
let's do a segue. What do you guys think of Tusker House?
Love it.
I
Yes.
thought it was great. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, wonderful.
I'm not the dining critic for the unofficial guide, but I had a heated
Yes, you
debate. No, I'm not really. I had a heated debate with the food critic for the guide about the review of that particular establishment, where I said it gets 1.5 stars from the guide. From the reviewer, and I'm like, it's got to be a 2.5, maybe 3 star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so we didn't agree on that, and the reviewer's opinion stood. Like, I gotta buy you lunch the next time we go down there.
Yeah, wow.
I guess I know where you're going.
That's
Take him to
shocking.
dinner, Len. Len, take him dinner.
I mean, I think it was absolutely fine. I mean, it's
I thought it was great.
Yeah,
One
that was
and a
great
half
too.
stars is like Captain Jack's.
Yeah, like China.
Yeah, China. Right.
Yeah, sorry, Noel. Moving on. Let's move over to Epcot. And well, I guess you got the
Filter?
Off kilter.
yeah, you got Off Kilter. Scopa, you're in love with the lead singer over there. Why don't you talk about it?
Oh, they're very good at trying to get Jamie to come on the show. Jamie, if you're out there, call me.
Stalker.
Yeah, it's not- very
Jamie,
good.
call
I
me.
mean, they're very, very popular. I mean, they're very popular. I mean, they've got these CDs. They've got these people watching them. I mean, it's a staple over there for Epcot. So
Yeah, it's a no-brainer if they're playing to stop and spend the rest of the set there. It's just a no-brainer.
I have a funny story about Off Kilter. I was taking from a master's class. I was in a class and it was it's IT security, and this guy who works for the FBI. It was our class, and we're doing the whole class. It's an all-day session, so we broke for lunch, and he goes, does anyone? We're all on computers, and he's like, would anyone mind if I put on some music during lunch? And no one cares. Let the instructor do whatever he wants. So he puts on the thing, and he puts in the CD, and he goes, I don't know if anyone's heard of this, but probably not. And he puts it in, and it's the Off Kilter CD.
Oh, wow.
This guy from the FBI listens to Off Kilter in his spare time.
That's awesome.
Teacher, I know all about off kilter. Brown nose.
Yep.
jerk.
Exactly. So the kids beat Matt up after school.
They took him out back.
Exactly. Off kilter. I'll show you off kilter. I got your bagpipes right here. Epcot boy.
Poser.
Exactly.
Anyway, I think the only other stage show that I can really think of is Turtle Talk.
Splashtacular.
Spectacular. Turtle Talk with Crush. Let me tell you, if I had a top 5 list of attractions in Walt Disney World, Turtle Talk is in my top 5.
Oh, it's so 2008.
Yeah.
I love it. I thought they did.
I just wanted to quote. What's the group? Black Eyed Peas.
Black Eyed
Black Eyed
Peas.
Peas.
I think it is quintessentially what a Disney World 2.0 attraction should be. It does it perfectly, and we'll talk about examples that don't do it perfectly in a little bit when we move on to the Magic Kingdom. But this is I love it. I think it does. It's entertaining. It's funny. It's very different from show to show, and I enjoy it.
Do you want to count the performers at the Bear Garden as a stage show? No,
Oh.
Nah.
Well,
it's not.
they perform on a stage.
They perform on the stage.
Well,
Yeah, but now you guys start counting like
The gals in China.
It counts.
any other ones in real other ones in Epcot? I can't think of anything else.
I was going to say the janitors, but we're not talking live performances. We're just talking stage
Yeah,
performances. Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, and Len, what you were going to talking about in the morning, or earlier in the morning, about this, the challenges of planning your day around, stage shows. Epcot's got to be one of the easiest parks to plan, considering that. I mean, there's a lot of live entertainment, but
Yeah,
that's
but
a little easier to plan. Would you say?
Yeah, I mean it's structured so much better than the other parks, and it's people know that, or Disney knows that you're not going to be in World Showcase until later in the afternoon, so they've planned accordingly, and there's enough of it around that if you can't catch the show in Italy, for example, it's something that can be popping up in France later on that you can just grab a croissant and watch.
Okay. Let's move on to the Magic Kingdom. And we have over here Mike Scopa's it's very near and dear to your heart, Mike. The Country Bear Jamboree.
Yeah.
Is that really considered a stage show?
Is that a stage show?
Why would that be a stage show but not Tiki Birds?
Mickey's Phil. Yeah.
Yeah.
Point taken. Okay, so well, moving on then. Never mind.
How about story?
The Hall of Presidents are on a stage.
Storytime with Belle.
Story time with Belle. Would you say that?
Yes.
Okay. 4 stars next. It's a very good show.
That's because every time you see that show, that song from the Carpenters comes on. That song?
We've only just begun.
No.
Just
begun.
Good show prep, Matt. Good show prep.
No, the song by the Carpenters.
Muskrat.
Muskrat Love.
Muskrat Love.
Bless the beasts and the children. Spit it out, Matt.
Something
Fail.
for you. Can't think of the lyric. The
Sing it then. Sing it, boy. Sing it.
Never
For
mind.
those of you who are trying to get this
is
please
the
send
worst
your guest
intro
to
ever.
Matt Hochberg at www.today.com, and we'll get back to you. All right.
If they can
8
read
months.
his mind as to what it is he's thinking.
Oh my god.
Now he's Googling Carpenters now.
Oh, close to you.
Just two. Oh, that's
Matt, Matt, it wasn't that funny.
Yeah. All that waiting and yeah.
Anyway, all right. Story time with Belle. Can we have a non-biased review, Len?
Storytime with Belle. I like the location because it holds relatively few people, and if you're there early, you can get a great seat, and no one's going to take it.
It's into
You're 15 or 20 feet from the from the stage. It's right.
Stalker.
Which is oddly within Mike's restraining order distance, so I don't know how he gets
Wait
away
a
with
minute.
that.
Let me check.
Hold on, let me get the actual paperwork here. Hold on.
God, you're right.
Yeah.
Hold on. Oh, I thought that said meters. Oh. You get to meet the characters afterwards. I think it's very well
Yeah.
done. Plus, as a bonus, I believe it's in the shade during the summer.
Yes.
And it's not during the winter. There's no shade in the winter.
No, well, it matters less during the winter.
Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. Now I was talking about how much I loved Turtle Talk before, but Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor I just don't think quite hit the same mark that Turtle Talk did. I just don't think it's quite as entertaining. I don't think the jokes are quite that funny.
Is that
I
a
think
stage show?
Yeah, it's the same as Turtle Talk. It's a different show all the time. It's performed on a stage.
Then if you're going to
I
say
can-
that,
I can-
we got to mention Carousel of Progress.
Well, no, that's the same show all the time. It's an attract. I see that as more of a.
It's a stage. It's the longest
Well,
running
it-
stage
it-
show in
his-
America, isn't it?
But here's the difference. The difference is that Carousel of Progress and like Country Bear Jamboree, the audio animatrons, and it's the same show. Whereas if you've got a stage show like Turtle Talk or you've got Laugh Floor, you've got a little bit of a change. It's very spontaneous. You've got humans reacting. So that's the difference, I think.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm not a huge fan of it. I think it's a step below. And the major problem I have with it is that I think the thing they always play up is you can send in your jokes, and they just pick the worst jokes in the world. I mean, they're just like the jokes you find on the bottom of popsicles.
The jokes you hear
You know?
here from Scopa.
Yeah, that too. Len, what are your thoughts on it? I'm curious what you have to say about the attraction.
Which attraction are we talking about again?
Monsters Inc.
I like it, actually. I know, I was just kidding. I like it quite a bit, actually. I like it better than Turtle Talk, and maybe it's the jokes.
You want crack?
No,
You've been hanging out with that food critic too long.
I agree with Len.
Too many popsicles. There you go. He likes the popsicle jokes.
I agree with Len. I like it better than Turtle Talk too.
No way.
Yes, way.
Bring back Timekeeper.
Well, yeah. that's a
I
given.
think the times that I've been at the Laugh, it's been the same show. I know y'all were saying that it's different.
It's basically the same
so
show.
is
Some of
Turtle
it's
Talk,
the same.
though.
There was
Turtle
just
Talk's the same
no-
show too.
Now there's much more. The kids make the show at Turtle
Yeah.
Talk because they're asking different things. The guy in Monsters Inc. It's the same dumb jokes. I mean, it's that guy. Then there's the two-headed people that tell the story of Monsters Inc. Really quick. And it's,
But I mean, it does vary.
and the
a
guy
little
that's
bit.
going to buy the food for everybody in the room, and
yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah.
Trust me, I enjoy
You
it.
guys are cynical. You guys are.
Yeah, we should write an unofficial guide to a park.
Wow. Wow. I'm just saying. Wow.
Oh, we're not rating Tusker House 2 stars. So.
1.5.
1.5.
1.5.
I guess there is one more stage show. What do they do on the stage in front of the castle now? I don't know. It used to be Cinderella Celebration, but obviously not that anymore.
What was the Donald the Dream thing, right?
I don't even see it. Celebrate. It's not Celebrate a Dream Come True. It's not Dream Along with Mickey.
It was Dream Along with Mickey.
Yeah, it's Dream Along with Mickey.
See the magic or dreams.
I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah, I'm seeing on All Ears. It says my cheat sheet over here. Allears.net. It says Dream Along with Mickey.
Must be right.
Yeah, must be right. That can do no wrong. I don't know. I'm not a big fan, but the thing, I don't think it's really geared towards me. It's like Playhouse Disney. It's for kids. I mean, that's what it's there for. I can't imagine watching any of these shows though. Like in the summertime, there's no shade over there. I mean, it's got to be brutal in front of that castle. But the only cool thing here about this attraction is the mouths, the headpieces move. Like Mickey blinks and his mouth moves.
Yeah, that's relatively recent too, right?
Yeah,
That's happening, by the way, Matt. If you had gone to Festival of the Lion King recently, you would notice that Timon
That's
is
right.
actually doing that too now.
that's really cool. I think that is a really neat intervention.
Cool or Chucky doll kind of spooky?
Well, it gets in the middle
Yeah.
of the night and
Chucky doll kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
If you happen to be in your room at night at All Star and you see Timon running by, then I'd be a little worried.
In the window.
Yeah,
When you're on the third floor.
That's right.
In the dark.
Imagine. You'd like run downstairs. No, it should totally be one of like Lady and the Tramp or one of those characters because you should like run down. You could run down and say, "Oh my god, I saw Lady and the Tramp in my window." Sure, you did.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, overall, I think those are the stage shows at Walt Disney World. I think, you just have to make sure. I think with anything, when you're planning your trip over there, you have to, I think the good way, if you want to plan the whole day at any of these parks and involve the stage shows, is you have to kind of bend your touring schedule around the stage shows to a degree because they're only shown so many times during the day.
Did we
Right.
forget one?
Did we?
Would you call Fantasmic a stage show?
I thought that, but I thought I left it out purposely because it's like it's a finale show, like Wishes or.
Okay.
But I think, I would agree with you that it's a stage show in a sense, but I just left it out purposely because I thought it was a
Okay.
different category.
Okay.
Okay.
We've talked about. I mean, there are episodes we've talked about Fantasmic. With all the other nighttime finales. In terms of
Okay.
I just for our listeners, benefit if they're interested in hearing about it.
Okay.
That's it for us today. Scoop is giving me the word here. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the Walt Disney World Today website at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, and the fabulous Ed Owens, I'm Matt Hotchberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Okay.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.